Okay. Hi, and welcome to episode 2 of the tutorial. Today we're going to cover 2 and 3 star monsters that you should probably keep, that will help you throughout pretty much the whole game, that you're going to hold on to for most of the game. We're going to start with the wind. First thing that you're going to want to get is a wind pixie who becomes Shannon. Shannon's really good. She has an AoE second skill that decreases the attack speed, which makes them go slower. She's great on Despair. She has a chance to stun them when she does it. And her third move, Pep Talk, increases the attack power and defense of all your allies. Makes your people live longer. Really good for when you're for your first Giants team. She'll help out a lot. Yeah, and she helps out a lot. This goes down to 3 turns, and this goes down to 4 turns. So it's reusable in 4 turns and lasts 3 turns. You want her pretty fast. I don't have her fast. These are the runes I had on her way back when. I don't really use her anymore. Some people still use her. I just don't. Second is Ramagos. He's really good. He's a warbear that has... You build him straight HP. This move ignores damage, can't crit, but does exactly the amount of HP that you're missing. So the more HP you have, the more damage he does as he gets lower. Then when he kills someone, he gets an extra turn. You can use it to pop the heal, and then continue going. He was a great farmer that I used up until when I got my Wind Panda. And he's really good. He helps you farm. He helps you do lots of different things. He's good in PvP. He's even good in some guild wars on the low level. You do reach a point where you just stop using him, but that's pretty late. You'll have a few Nat 5s by the time you get rid of him. Next up, we have Bernard the Wind Griffin. There he is. He's pretty much used all the way from the beginning of the game till the end of the game. High-end people still use him. He's great. He's fast. You build him fast. And you want him to be very fast. What he does is he increases the attack bar of all of your people by 30% and gives you attack speed for 2 turns. Which is great. His first move is based on attack speed, so he does more damage the faster he is. His second move lowers defense, lowers attack of a single target. So you want him to have okay accuracy. His leader skill comes into use sometimes, but yeah, it's there in case you need it as well. While we're on the subject of Bernard, we can go over to water real quick and talk about Wayne, the water bounty hunter. He is pretty much a more aggressive version of Bernard. He's got this, which attacks twice, has a 25% chance to ignore defense, and he has this, which attacks twice, with a 30% chance to go again, and a 50% chance to go again if they have more hit points than you. So, on average, he does pretty good damage. He doesn't have the armor break, he doesn't have the weapon break, but he has more damage showing. So if you have other armor breakers, other weapon breakers, you could take him instead. He's also better in dragons, because when you're doing dragons B10, it's a fire, and Bernard is wind, so he'll basically take more damage effectively, because the dragon won't be glancing him. He has an attack buff similar to Bernard's, except his is for water, while Bernard's is for wind. They both have this same ability. He's 1 speed slower. But other than that, he's just a more aggressive version. Okay. Next up, we have Ardella, who I also don't have. Ardella is the Wind Magical Archer. A lot of people like to build her, and a lot of people have her even late game because of her ability to increase her critical damage based on how much HP you've lost. So you build her in the typical attack, crit, damage, attack with high crit, and you don't need as much crit because she has 25% increased critical rate. So as she gets lower, she does more damage because her crit damage goes up. And a lot of people build her on Vampire so that when she gets low, she just hits, goes back up. She is squishy even all the way at the end. Don't expect her to be soloing things, but she's a great single target wind nuker that does decent damage if you make her fast, and she hits pretty hard. The magic arrow is kind of weird. It does different effects based on what they are. If you're neutral, if it's element neutral, as in if you're using her and you're attacking a wind, light, or dark, it's the same. Hold on 1 second. And then if you attack water, it's something different, and if you attack fire, it's something different. And the things that they are so if she attacks water, this ability inflicts defense down for 2 turns. If it's equal, as in it's wind, light, or dark, it does weaken attack. And if she attacks fire, she has a chance to put it to sleep for 1 turn. So it's not too bad. Okay, next up we have Copper. Copper is really useful. Probably use him throughout the whole game. Very simple build. You can build him with just the guard runes. You just give him 6 guard. It's great. Defense, defense, defense. What he does is he ignores defense as long as he's got more than double their defense. It's really good. Smashes for excellent amount of damage. And like I said, he's easy to build, easy to skill up. His second move is an AoE that deals damage based on your defense. That has a chance to lower people's defense. It's great. You lower their defense, you smack them with the third skill, they're pretty much gone. His first skill has a chance to stun the target. If the target is under the effect of a defense reduction, then you decrease their speed as well. This also goes based on his defense. So as you see, you just build defenses on him. That's pretty much it for the wind people. Now, as far as the water people, you have Tark. He is not someone that you build early on, but he's somewhere around the middle to late game you'll use him. He's good for giants, he's good for dragons. Some people use him in Necro. He's good in some parts of TOA. He's not really good for arenas or PvP. What he does is his second move is based on attack speed. His third one, basically, he attacks and he brings 2 people with him. I don't know if it's a glitch or something, but he also lowers the cooldown on their abilities by 1 turn when he pulls them in. Um, his first attack recovers 30% of the damage he deals, so he is a little squishy. As you see, he's only got 362 base defense at max level. That's pretty squishy. He does have a heal on his first skill, which, as long as he's not being targeted, if he's just getting AoE hit, he should survive most things. Next we have Konamiya. Don't look at the speed on my Konamiya because I haven't worked on her in a long time. But this is a great healer cleanser that you're going to use for a long time. Some people even use him all the way at the end of the game. It's great. Has a cleanse that heals for about 19%. 19.5%, almost 20%. 3 turns. It's great. And it cleanses. So you can use it on the world boss. I mean the raid boss. You can use it in dragons. You can use it in a lot of places. The second move fills up the attack bar of an ally. He can use it on himself, and it increases their attack power for 1 turn. So it's great. He can be super fast. You could have a slow nuker. You can make your nuker go, so that way they can get their hits in. The first hit has a chance to stun. It's what is that, 64%? Yeah, 64%. 64% chance to stun on the first move. Not too shabby. Next up, we have a monster that you might use just for the beginning parts of the game. Konamiya is better. Is the Water Howl Lulu. Lulu's pretty decent. Has 2 abilities that heal. This one is similar to Konamiya, except it only works on you and an ally. One other ally. This one, however, removes all the harmful effects on all allies and recovers their thing. So this is pretty much the same as Konamiya's. I think it goes down to 3 turns. I'm not 100% sure. It might be 4 turns. But it's 2 different heals. And the first move increases your attack bar by 30%. So he's pretty quick. And he gets his heals off a little fast. Personally, Konamiya is better. But I've heard a lot of people using him. So that's just my 2 cents on that. Next up, we have Megan. Megan is great. She is what replaced my Shannon. A lot of people use her instead of Shannon, even though they're 2 different things. The similar thing that they have is they both increase attack power and defense. What she does differently is she also increases the attack bar by 20%. So that's good. It's also 4 turns, but hers only lasts 2 turns. She has this, which removes a beneficial effect and adds a block so that they can't receive beneficial effects for 1 turn. And it has a 100% chance without resistance once you max it out. Her first ability has a chance to land a dot at an 80% chance. So that's why I use her instead. Shannon adds glancing on her first hit. She adds a dot on her first hit. She can remove beneficial effects. Shannon adds slow. So they're kind of similar. They're both support characters. They're just used slightly differently. You will use Megan all the way throughout the end of the game in PvP, TOA, lots of different places. The bar increase is a big help in lots of different places. Okay, that's it for water. Next up, we have fire. In fire, the first one we have is this nice little 2-star Colleen. Colleen is great. She has a 30% chance of a little over 30% heal, and buffs attack power for 3 turns. It's great. It's 30% of their health. So even if she doesn't have a lot of health, she still heals 30%. Doesn't matter if they have 200,000 health or 1 health. She's healing a little over 30% of their health. She's great. She comes in very handy. Her first attack attacks twice. Each attack has a 50, 60, 70% chance of decreasing attack power for 2 turns. Very handy in, once again, the raids. Very handy because she also blocks heals with her second move. Her second move also hits 4 times. That's why many people take her into Necro. With Necro, you want people that hit multiple times. So that's nice and handy. Colleen's pretty easy. She starts off as a 2-star. You can get her pretty much anywhere. You can even get her in the shop. And... oh, we didn't go over that. Bernard can also be gotten in the desert, which is a very easy place to farm until you get to the volcano. And Ardella has a secret dungeon that's available on Thursdays. Yeah, Thursdays is the win day, and you can, sometimes she pops up there. Okay, next up is we have Rauk. Rauk is nice. He is the RNG king. It's all about randomness with him. What he does is he attacks, and he has a 50% chance to decrease the defense of the enemy. And he gets to attack again with a 30% chance. I've seen him attack up to 8 times so far. And it's hilarious when it happens, because it just comes out of nowhere, and then the guy just dies, and it's hilarious. And whenever he kills someone, his Annihilate passive kicks in, which lets him go again. His second move is a team up. He goes, brings in 1 extra friend. The team up will not proc the defense or the extra attacks. It will if it kills somebody, even if the person he pulls in is the one that gets the death blow, to proc his Annihilate. He's pretty decent. He's a good farmer. You can get him in Famon Volcano. Alright, next up we have Spectra. Spectra's great. Has an AoE slow that also knocks the bar back 30%. The knockback, it has a 50% chance of happening, and the slow is a 100% chance of it triggering. But once again, all things are susceptible to resistance. The second move is great. It inflicts damage proportional to the max HP of the enemy. If I'm not mistaken, it's 16% of their hit points. So the best thing to do is go with crit and crit damage. So that way, attack doesn't matter because it's based on their hit points. So if you can get your crit damage to 100%, you have a chance of doing 32% of their health, minus armor. And, you know, if you can get your crit damage to like 200%, then you can do, instead of 32, you'll do 48% minus armor. So, Spectra really shines when you get an armor breaker, and then you break their armor, and then you hit in, you'll do massive amounts of damage. You'll easily see 100k damage on really high HP monsters, like top of TOA and stuff like that. First attack is based on attack speed, same as all the Griffins. You want her to be very fast. I slowed mine down a little bit because she was outspeeding my my Veramos in Dragons. So the dots were eating her away, and that was no good. So I slowed her down a little bit, so Veramos gets to go a little bit more. Alright, next up we have Kali. And where is Kali? Is she in storage? No, right here. Alright. So Kali's great. Her third move is the God of Fire. Increases attack power and attack speed of all allies for 2 turns. She becomes invincible for 1 turn. Has a 4 turn cooldown. First move, same as all high elementals. Inflicts continuous damage with like a 60% chance or something. What is that? That's 20, 30, 40, 50% chance. But here's where she shines. Her second move attacks, has a good multiplier, and ignores defense. Great for taking out monsters that have low hit points and really high defense. Good for taking out Copper. Good for taking out Feng Yang the Panda. Good for taking out lots of different people that have really high defense but lowish hit points. She hits for really good damage. Even with my crappy stats on her, she hits for about 30k. Well, 27, something like that. So, really good at taking out really high defensive people. You can farm her in Vrophagus runes. That name, when you type it in, gets, censored, but they're the ones that came up with the name. Next up is a guy that I don't have. He's good in the beginning, but he reaches kind of a plateau somewhere around mid and before late game. And what he does is he has an AoE that stuns the primary target and inflicts continuous damage on the rest of the enemies. Great. AoE. Second one is what makes him good, is that he's got an AoE defense break for 2 turns. AoE defense break is kind of hard to come by on early monsters. That's what makes him really good. And he shines really well up until the point where you get like a Galleon or something like that takes over. Galleon does the defense break. He also buffs your people. So he'll end up replacing him. But he's really good early to mid game. Kind of late game, but not too much. There is one thing which I didn't go over in water, which is Purian. A lot of people like Purian because of this ability, which fills the attack bar of all allies by 50% and increases their critical rate for 3 turns. Now, it's a little bit harder to get him up to speed of Bernard and such because he has a much lower base speed. His speed is 97, whereas Wayne is 110 and Bernard is 111. So it's a huge difference. But if you do manage to get him fast enough where he goes first, he makes sure your other people go. He's got like a freeze thing. Yeah, stuns when it lands as a critical hit. And then they all have this, which increases the attack bar by 30%. Okay. Next up, we have Rakuni. Rakuni is one of the newer characters that just came out. And what he does is he's great. He has a passive that removes 2 harmful effects off the ally with the lowest HP and heals them for 10% of their HP each time he goes. He's got this ability, which is kind of like Konamiya's. He fills an ally's attack bar to the max and increases their attack speed for 2 turns. He can use it on himself. He can use it on another target. They pretty much go next. It's good. His first ability attacks the target and increases the attack bar of the ally with the lowest bar by 15%. So it's pretty decent. He goes, he attacks. You want him to be really, really, really fast so he can go more often, so he can make your team go more often. If you can get him fast enough, you want him on violence so he gets to go multiple times. It's great to have. There's nowhere to farm him, so you're just going to have to get lucky and pull him. But he is a 3-star, and you will come across him pretty often. Next in fire, we have Adrian. Adrian's pretty decent. He comes in handy in a couple different places. Some people use him, some people don't. But he's good to hold on to. I use him in my Necro team because this move attacks 3 times, this move attacks 4 times, and this gives a crit bonus to everyone. The attack speed doesn't matter too much in Necro because speed is capped at 110. So as long as your people are over 110, it doesn't really matter. This one that attacks 4 times has a 50, 60, 70, 75% chance of adding dots with each hit. So we can add up to 4 dots. This one attacks 3 times and blocks HP recovery for 1 turn, which is also great against Necro. So that's why I recommend him as a starter person for your Necro team. Like I said, he's still in my Necro team. My Necro team is almost free to play. Yeah, it's pretty much free to play. It's all farmable characters, except for Lisa. Next up, we have Light and Dark. Now, these are slightly harder to come by, but you want to try and get them. Now remember, hold on to all your Light and Darks. The first one we have is Darian. I think Darian's in storage. Yeah, Darian's in storage. So, first we have is Darian. Darian can be gotten through a secret dungeon on Sundays. And he's great because, especially after the buff, he decreases the damage that other allies receive by 20%. Which is great. He makes your squishy guys less squishy. Even if someone ignores defense, this still kicks in. He has a defense break, and he has a offense break. Yes. And they both scale according to his max HP. So you just need to make him very tanky. That's it. That's his whole job. Be tanky, defense break. That's it. He comes in very handy. Probably use him in your first Giants team, which will probably be Veramos, him, Bernard, Bella, which we'll do next, and Shannon. Sorry. That's a very good starting team for Giants. It has a very high success rate. You just need to make Darian very tanky, and then that's it. Just make the other guys pretty decently fast. Yeah, he's easy to skill up. Any Vagabond will do, even the 2-star ones. You can buy the 2-star ones from the store. They appear fairly often in the store, and you can just pick them up. They're not too expensive. Alright, so next we have Bella. And you will see it. She is the Light Inugami. You will see her, people asking for her every Sunday. She's a great healer. She fills the attack bar by 30% and recovers 36% of everyone's HP. She removes beneficial effects on her second move, and she has a 100% chance to defense break on her first. Very solid monster. Very solid monster that will be used pretty much the entire game. You want her to be very fast, and you want her to be high accuracy. I know mine is kind of slow. Sorry. But yeah, you want her to be very fast, so that way she can get her heals off. You want her to strip the buffs off of the enemies. You want her to defense break. Like I said, SD, and pretty easy to skill up. There's a couple places where you can get where there's Inugami where there's Inugamis that you can farm. You can do it in Garen Forest, and you can do it in Famon Volcano. I recommend, if you can, farm the Fame and Volcano, because you're going to need them anyway. And the Wind one? Where's the Wind one? Yeah, and then the Wind one can be farmed here. So pretty much, there's 3 different places to farm 3 different Inugamis. Yeah. YDCB loves this Inugami. But, yeah, so that's that one. Next we have Amon. Amon is decent, but he's kind of difficult to get proper because the runes you need for him are pretty hard to basically get. You want him, he needs to have 100% crit for this to trigger. He recovers all allies' HP by 12% whenever he crits. So you need him to have 100% crit. Otherwise, he's kind of useless because these moves don't really do a lot. So he's got a provoke on the first attack, and this one is just a single target that deals more damage based on his HP, which really doesn't do that much damage. So it's hard to get him fast enough with because you need to have HP, crit, HP. It's hard to get him fast and high crit and high health, and high defense, so he survives. So he's a little rough to build, but he's pretty good. And then he comes in handy because even if he's silenced, he can still heal. So he comes in handy for beginner dragons teams if you're able to get, the proper runes for him. Other than that, you can take your Giants B10 team and you can go straight to Dragons B9. Same team works. Or I'm sorry, Dragons B8. Yeah, Dragons B8. Okay, next we have Escher the Werewolf. Okay, Escher is great. He is a basically HP tank that deals more damage based on his HP. He also has a chance to strip 50% with each attack. If he kills somebody with this move, he gets another turn. Really good. This move heals, and it increases the attack speed. 3-turn cooldown for a 2-turn attack speed. Pretty handy, and this blocks recovery. It's good in Guild Wars for the 21% increase, so he can help himself. You probably won't be using this often, because there are better people, but if you have nothing better, at least he's got it. He does not have an easy way to Amon has an SD. Escher does not have an easy way to get him. But once you get him, you can feed any werewolves to him. Alright, next up we have Lyn. Lyn is, I haven't gotten her yet, but she's great. She has her first move, increase, it's just a high crit damage, and it deals damage based on the enemy's max HP. Let me check real quick on how much the first move does, because I don't remember how much the first one did. Yeah, it's not too bad. So it does 290% of your attack stat plus 5% of the enemy's max HP before any reductions, which isn't too bad, for a first skill. The second skill is it deals damage proportionate to the max HP also. And what is that? That's 410% plus 8%. Once again, pretty good. All her moves are based on the enemy's max HP. This is the killer move of bosses. As long as you can keep her alive, she does ridiculous damage to bosses. This attack deals 520% of your attack stat, plus 16% of the enemy's hit points. And if the target is immune to stun, which pretty much every boss is, the damage is increased by 30%. I've seen videos of her doing well over 100,000 on bosses, and it's hilarious. She's got a guild battle leader. You're never going to use her in guild battles because their HP is not significant for you to bring her. She's too squishy. If she gets targeted, she's gonna die. At 6-star max, she has 329 defense. She will get squashed by most things. She can't take hits at all. She is very good though, and deals massive amounts of damage. Next up, we have Lauren. Lauren just came out 3 weeks ago, something like that, a month ago. And she's fantastic. She's much better than the paladin they gave us. She's building material for the paladin. She's got this passive, which decreases the enemy's attack bar by 10% with each attack, and weakens the defense for one turn with a 50% chance per attack. This attack attacks 3 times with a chance to slow the target per attack. It goes up to 50%. Most of the time it lands anyway, because it's pretty good. This one is worded strangely, because it says it removes 1 harmful effect, but it actually removes 1 beneficial effect from the enemy. It attacks twice, removes a beneficial effect, and disturbs HP recovery for 2 turns with a 50% chance. Very handy, very useful, and don't forget, not only does it attack 2 times, but it reduces their attack bar by 20% and has a 50% times 2 chance of breaking their armor. So really good. She has an 18% attack power global. It doesn't have to be in Guild Wars, it could be anywhere, to all monsters. It's a small amount, but it's better than nothing. Okay, she has a secret dungeon on Sundays, same with other light monsters. Okay, did we do Kabila? I don't think we did Kabila. Okay, next up is Kabila. Kabila is on par with Wayne and Bernard. She is an attack bar buffer. That's pretty much her whole job. A lot of people like her because she's got 9 more speed than Bernard. And then that lets her get off the 30% increase to attack bar. The decrease your chance of being critical hit by 50%. It's kind of handy. I haven't really noticed it too much. But yeah, it's pretty nice. She's got this one that attacks 4 times, I think. It attacks... Oh, 2 to 4 times. So it can attacks 2 to 4 times. And then the first attack, which attacks with fierce kicks, weakens the defense for 2 turns with a 50% chance. A lot of people like her because she's so fast and she increases the attack bar. Once again, you go first, there's a good chance you're going to win. Yeah, that's what it comes down to, is who goes first. Okay. Next up, we have the dark monsters. So we will start with Basalt, because I have Basalt first in order. Now, Basalt... Oh no, I have Mentura. Mentura's first. Mentura is great. Has the abilities are proportionate to your max HP. Has a single target strip on the first one, 75% chance. Not bad for skill 1. Skill 2 is reusable in 2 turns and decreases attack speed on the enemy. It's an AoE, hits everybody, reusable in 2 turns. Really good ability. The third one, reusable in 4 turns, is an AoE defense break. In addition to that, it puts continuous damage for 2 turns on everybody. Once again, susceptible to resistances. Alright, so very handy. Most people build Despair. I have Despair Broken set right now because these were the best runes that I wasn't using. You want her to be fast, and yeah, just as fast as you can with as much hit points as you can, and high accuracy. And I'm not showing a good example as I am slow and have no accuracy. So take that. Alright, next up is Basalt. Basalt is great. Another character I don't really focus on that much. I should. So this one has the third skill, inflicts damage on enemies proportionate to your defense and decreases their attack bar by 35%. That's the important part, is that it decreases the attack bar by 35%. And okay. The second move increases defense and increases and heals for 15% of this character's HP. So it usually doesn't heal for that much. Like, you know, you stack defense, not HP on this guy. If you're able to get both, that's great. Once again, you want him to be super fast. I'm not super fast, sorry. High accuracy and high defense, and however much hit points you can try and get on there. Once you have that, that's it. You're golden. Now, when I say high accuracy, there's a difference between high accuracy for PvP and high accuracy for PvE. Now, giants, dragons, necro, if I'm not mistaken, are 35. For TOA and TOA hard, you need 46. So the goal you want to get to is roughly around 50% accuracy on your non-PvP monsters. For your PvP monsters, your accuracy should be 85%. No lower. Because they're probably going to have, on their important monsters, they're going to have 100% resistance. And the lowest your resistance can go is 15. So that's why 85 is the cap. So what you want to do is, on your PvP monsters, get your 85 accuracy. That's what's important, because you want to make sure that they only have a 15% chance to resist you. For every point lower than 85, you're increasing their chance to resist you, which could pretty much turn the whole game, and can cause you to lose the PvP match. So on the important people that are buffers, that's what you need. On people like Katarina, she has no debuffs. You don't need it. You don't need any accuracy. But if someone has a debuff, you want to make sure that they have high accuracy. And yeah. Okay. I think that's it for this episode. And if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I'll try to answer or get back to you on any of them. If you think I missed any monsters that deserve to be on this list, please let me know, and maybe we could do a follow-up afterwards. Thank you, and have a great day.